It's a statement from President Joe Biden on his travel to Kyiv in Ukraine and what's coming in as the world prepares to mark one-year anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine. I am in Kyiv today to meet with President Zelensky and reaffirm our unwavering and unflagging commitment to Ukraine's democracy, sovereignty and territorial integrity. When Putin launched his invasion nearly 1 year ago, he thought Ukraine was weak and the West was divided. He thought he could outlast us. But he was dead wrong. Today in Kyiv, I'm meeting with President Zelensky and his team for an extended discussion on our support for Ukraine. I will announce another delivery of critical equipment, including artillery, ammunition, anti-armor systems, air surveillance radars to help protect the Ukrainian people from aerial bombardments. And I will share that later this week. We will announce additional sanctions against elites and companies that are trying to evade or backfill Russia's war machines. Over the last year, the United States has built a coalition of nations from the Atlantic to the Pacific to help defend Ukraine with unprecedented military, economic and humanitarian support, and that support will endure. I also look forward to traveling on to Poland to meet President Duda and the leaders of our eastern flank allies, as well as deliver remarks on how the United States will continue to rally the world to support the people of Ukraine and the core values of human rights and dignity in the UN Charter that unite us worldwide. Unquote. Gaurav, what do you make of this statement coming in from White House?
Well, this statement would be a huge disappointment for President Zelensky because the weapons that he's looking for are not coming his way. Very, very clearly, look at the weapons that Joe Biden announces. He says that the weapons that they're giving includes artillery, ammunition, anti-armor and air surveillance radars. Now, these are all defensive weapons or offensive weapons of a very tactical nature, not the bigger weapons of fighter jets or longer range missiles that President Zelensky so desperately seeks. So, again, what's the principle of war? Is the principle of war to defeat Russia or to ensure Ukraine is not defeated? And perhaps it's the latter, that Ukraine should not be completely steamrolled, road-rolled and defeated. And that is why Ukraine will get more artillery pieces or artillery ammunition, not even additional artillery pieces, armor protection, which is tanks and armored personnel carriers and their ammunition and their protection surveillance, and radars to protect Ukraine from incoming aircraft and missiles. So defensive weapons, it will ensure that this war actually lingers on. And the more it lingers on, well, it's a battle of attrition. It depends who has deeper pockets and a more staying power. And it will be the case of the last man standing. And this is where it's actually Russia versus NATO/US in this war. So Joe Biden wants to give his support as much as he can, but perhaps not all NATO members are on the same page here, Chaiti.
He is also going to be going to Poland, according to his statement. So how do you read that part?
So President Duda, of course, and Poland, they've been standing by strongly with Ukraine. Of course, 1 year down the line, things have also changed. Initially, everyone thought that this war may last a couple of weeks, then months, then 6 months. But now that it's going to be 1 year of this war and there is no end in sight, Europe is feeling the pinch. Yes, Russia is feeling the pinch. Yes, Ukraine is feeling the pinch very hard. But so is the rest of Europe. Look at gas prices, fuel prices, economy, recession. All of that is impacting the rest of Europe. And this is where this battle becomes very critical, because through President Duda and Poland, of course, also fears in case Ukraine goes down, Poland could well be next. Except the big difference is Poland is a member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Yeah.
So this is where the entire might of NATO will be with Poland. But then Poland will have to do a lot to ensure that Ukraine remains that buffer between Russia and Poland.
All right, so there you go, Gaurav Sawant, breaking down this particular statement that has come from the White House, from President Joe Biden on his travel to Kyiv in Ukraine as well. Gaurav, are we picking up his plan of action while he is in Ukraine? What's going to happen? I believe he's planning to walk around with Zelensky in Ukraine today. Gaurav, can you hear me?
Absolutely, and I was just reading the statement that's come from US President Joe Biden, who says United States government official when Putin launched his invasion nearly 1 year ago, he thought Ukraine was weak and the West was divided. He thought he could outlast us, but he was dead wrong. So this is what the United States is now saying, that Putin has been proven wrong. But the fact also remains that Putin is in control of virtually 1/3 plus of Ukraine now. He has much more territory than he did 1 year ago, and his forces are adopting a very aggressive posture. The apprehension is that that winter offensive that was expected around end December, early January, could actually now be the spring offensive. It could very well come in the coming weeks, because anyway there's information about Russia amassing close to 2 to 2.5 lakh troops for a fresh offensive into Ukraine, and this would be a major cause for concern, not just for Ukraine, but also for US President Joe Biden and NATO member countries, Chaiti.